Hi, welcome to an Open Mind Show. I'm Anita Burns. This is a show about walking the path of life, and today my guest is Victoria Edwards, a wonderful artist who works in the San Diego, California area and has a variety of styles that I find so intriguing I would love to share them with you. So without me blathering on any further, let me introduce Victoria. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad you could be here. I've been following your art for a long time, and I just love your work. I really do love your work. It's very inspiring, and you have such a variety of styles. I mean, you have some that's almost poster art and stained glass looking, and then other styles that are a little more organic, and you seem to be equally comfortable in both styles and in a wide variety. So tell me how you got started in this. I mean, as a child, were you an artist, or did you draw for your friends, or?
Actually, as a child, I drew for fun, and mostly landscapes. I drew animals. Horses were really a big thing for me, and it was just mostly for fun. I was never trained or took any classes.
No.
It was just a hobby, and I especially enjoy drawing trees and landscapes. I grew up in California. I'm a native Californian. My father was a state park ranger.
Was that in Southern California? Or?
Actually, throughout, from as far as Big Sur down all the way down to San Diego. And so I was exposed to the environment because we always lived in parks. We literally lived in the parks.
Oh gosh, how lucky.
And so that was my playground. And so I think that really attributed to what I drew at the time.
Was it pencil or pastel or?
Pastels, chalk, watercolor, and also line drawings with just simple pencils that number 2 pencils from elementary school.
Right, right. I'm curious, do you have any earlier?
I currently don't, and I know who does. My mother, who's kept everything.
Oh.
So eventually, it will come out of her garage of all my mementos and things that she saved.
So when you're more famous than Picasso, she can sell those.
Yes.
Become very, very wealthy.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you started doing this in a more formal way, I think, before your son was born?
Right. Jake is 12 now. 13 years ago, I picked up a drawing pencil and paper and took a couple of local classes in Irvine, California, where I lived at the time, and started just drawing for fun and felt like I needed to get back into it, and that's really where it began. And I realized that was my true passion, and that is when I got serious. I took as much time as I could, having a young family and a husband, and drew when I had found the time.
Yeah.
So that was
your
my
children
beginning.
are a little older now, so.
Yes, they're 12 and 11-year-old. And since then, I've continued to master the basic skills through classes from Southern California. I had the chance to move to Okinawa, Japan, which influenced most of my current work.
How cool is that? Oh,
the
God.
Asian
Did
influence.
I really say that? How cool is that? Excuse me. Never mind, but that's wonderful.
Yes, and I actually had my first studio in Okinawa, Japan, on a military base, believe it or not.
Do you speak Japanese?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, just a few words. And so I created my very first painting, actually my completed painting that for me was like my first real complete piece, which was acrylic on canvas, and it was a fairly large piece. It took me from the drawing into the painting.
Well, and some of the stuff I've seen, some of the earlier stuff I've seen of the angels and things, I can see a little bit of a sort of a Japanese influence, and I wondered where that came from.
Symbology.
I thought it might be just my imagination, but I guess not.
No,
I guess not. Yeah. And another thing I have noticed with a lot of my guests and a lot of people I know who are extraordinarily talented and dedicated and with a passion, that a lot of that passion just came out when, what did one of my guests call it? When she was about to be single again. And that's when her true self came out, and that seems to be a common theme in a lot of people. And I wonder if that had an influence on you too.
Oh, most definitely. Yes, and I think being in Asia for 3 years, took me out of the Western influence and dropped me into an environment so completely different than what I was ever used to. Not a number one, military, but also the consciousness is really brought me more to an inner space, inner calm, and I found that I started to work more with my intuition as opposed to just drawing with basic skills. So that's when things started to come to me, images, and I allowed my spirit to really take over and create paintings that meant a lot to me with what I was going through at the time. And at the time was really the beginning before I actually broke up with my husband. And so that period, as much as sometimes I wish I could forget about it, was very important to my current work.
And some of the work, some of the work you did before, which had sort of a stained glass look. I mean, I'm just interpreting that myself. Where a lot of them were angels, and you combine that with an organic feel in certain parts of the painting, for the wings and so forth. And where does your inspiration for the angels come from?
That's a good question. They just appeared to me, and in my vision, my inner vision, they came through onto the canvas. I found that I started sketching figures that resembled people, but they really looked more like angels, and they were very quick sketches. And as I worked more with those sketches, the figure would just appear, and the angels would just appear. As I transformed the sketch onto the painting, more organic materials came in, like the crystals and the wings that made me look like butterflies. And so I would incorporate those into my paintings too. So they were really there as my true guidance in the time of very, very traumatic time in my life. So.
And they're so beautifully colored, brilliant jewel tones, some of them. And
yes, I love color, and it comes natural to me. I'm very gifted in color. I'm very fortunate for that. And again, that is something that I feel really comfortable with, and I love bright color. Love bright color.
Me too. I do too. So now, recently though, your style has branched out to some collage work, kind of,
Correct.
and different mediums, and it has a more organic feel, almost a dreamlike quality to it. And how did that come about?
I think my new series, you will see, like Upon Prayer, Radiant Play, a couple of those pieces are more prayer, more meditative. And I found that I started working with Asian paper, which I brought home from Okinawa. So again, that influence from the Asian experience. I incorporated that into my pieces and used mixed metals. I used metals, copper and steel and acrylic, and symbology like the yin-yang symbol to bring about a meditative piece. And as it started to develop, I found that these pieces mean a lot to me, because I do find that when I work with these pieces and I build upon the layers and layers and layers, there's more depth goes into it, more substance. To say much more meaning comes into those pieces, as opposed to the angels. The angels to me were much more light and airy, stained glass, very bright. However, these pieces even get deeper into really what I'm about, and maybe sharing with others something that they could bring to the viewer, something that will touch their hearts in some way too. And these pieces have gotten a lot of press and a lot of welcome by many people.
Well, so. You can look at them and see so many different things in them. I mean, if I look at one, for example, the one with the Buddha.
Yes.
As I look at that, different things will pop out at different times, and maybe in different lights that even looks like totally changed. So they're very interesting.
I think the layering of the paint in the paper, the collage, the metals. It changes as depending on what time of day you're looking at the piece, where it's placed in your home, and you're right.
So, how much influence did your childhood, being in the park and in nature, have on your work?
Well, that takes me to my next series. This series is something I'll continue for a while because it is quite popular and lends to who I am and to the people that actually see it, love these pieces, and they are bringing in something that touches my heart, which is the environment. And I'm working on a new series which is being shown at Eagle Fine Art Gallery in La Jolla, California, and it's called Tidal Lands. It's the next step. It's mixed medium and collage right now in 2008 is quite popular. People are looking for some abstracts that not only can hang vertical, horizontal, you can move the pieces, they could be multiple pieces in one painting. And the newest piece has 3 panels, which incorporates glass from Okinawa again.
Oh,
At
yeah.
the last of my materials from that wonderful stay there. And you can move these pieces around, and it's about the tides. It's about the coastlines here in California, and eventually I'm going to branch out to other coastlines as the first in the series. And it takes me back to my roots of growing up in the environment, and I feel so comfortable.
How
comfortable with
fascinating.
that.
Now, I've seen a photograph of the piece that you were talking about, but I'm sure that no photograph would do a complete justice. You'd have to, especially with the mixed media that doesn't show up as
Right.
well
It doesn't
in
in a
photographs.
photograph.
Yeah, and
That's
you would
actually
see
seen.
it, and it just would come alive.
Right,
Uh-huh.
right.
And you have you show in a gallery. In fact, you're associated with a gallery, I think, in San Diego, right?
Correct.
And what is? Do
It's
you
in La
want to mention?
Jolla. It's on Prospect Street. Eagle Fine Art Gallery.
Eagle Fine Art. Eagle.
Yes, Eagle, yes.
Fine
It's
Art
an
Gallery.
Eagles.
Uh-huh.
And
So I know that I'm guessing that this is maybe your first experience of being really that closely involved in the day-to-day workings of a gallery. And how was that for you? I mean,
absolutely
is that
love
interesting?
it. It is. It's a different world. I've continued to do shows throughout Southern California and will continue to do those. And if you're interested in seeing my schedule or of events, it'll be located on my website.
And that is?
And my website is vedwardsfineart.net.
Okay.
And but working with the galleries and my next step into expanding my work, expanding my knowledge, expanding my customer base as well. And this has been a fabulous experience. I've shown there for about approximately 3 months, and I'm very excited about it.
So you meet a bunch of interesting people, I would assume.
Oh yes, and collectors and people from around the world, especially in La Jolla, California. It's a very great place for vacations in the summer. So I'm meeting people from Russia, a lot of people from Texas, I know, and from the Midwest.
Oh my
Some from
goodness.
the East Coast, and a lot of international, and
So
also
you're-
a lot of people from Mexico. They're coming up from Mexico to spend a day or two in San Diego.
That's great. So if people wanted to reach you, how would they do that? I mean, we've mentioned the website. We'll also mention it again
Okay.
on the video itself. Do you have an email?
Yes, info@vedwardsfineart.net.
Okay.
And it's located also on the website too.
Well, it's
And my phone number will be listed on the website as
Great.
well, so you can reach out.
Great.
for that.
And if people want to see your pieces in person on an ongoing basis, would they see them at the Eagle?
Yes, you can come down to the Eagle Gallery,
Uh-huh.
and that's. And you're also welcome to come and visit my studio. You'll need to either call or make an appointment through the
Okay.
website, and you can come and see my
And then your
pieces.
schedule is on your
And the
website,
schedule is
so
also-
they'll know where you're doing shows and so
Yeah.
forth. Well, this has been very interesting.
you.
And
Thank
thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed our show. Please remember to subscribe so that you don't miss a minute of our wonderful guests. Thank you.
I'm moving around too much.